One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay villain. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay villain. It's BV. It's BV. BV. It's BV.
Yeah.
It's BV. It's BV. It's BV. It's BV.
It's BV and Jellified, Jimmy Bean and Bly. Reaching high as where we reach, yo, as high as to the stars. Beats in the villain Jeep, vibrating other cars. Whose world is this? Yo, we say the world is ours. So we grow beards, no fear. Photos so clear, take another shot, so to speak. Yeah, more beer. BV worldwide, put a fist to the sky. Cheers, cheers, New Year's, dope rhyme, good vibes. My crew speaks power, Chi-Town bleeds power. Knowledge, wisdom, and truth in the final hour. Respect, loyalty, family, charity speaks power. Bearded Villains, brotherhood speaks honor. Forwards and onwards, stay villain to the end. I will never shave again because my beard is not a trend. I represent excellence, leadership, and never follow. I'm a BBC member, yo, Lieutenant of Chicago.
One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay villain. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay villain. It's BV. 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 Yo.
Hello and welcome to the Heart of a Villain podcast. Hello, hello, hello. Oh man, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you being here so late. For those of you who are not the normal viewers, the ones that are out of the States, greatly appreciate that. So, hello and welcome to the Heart of a Villain. This is episode 30 of the podcast, devoted to the Bearded Villains Worldwide Brotherhood and the lives they are changing all over the world. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate you for being here, especially those of you who are here late night, a little bit off schedule on the live stream over on YouTube. And for those of you who are listening on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. And those of you who are listening in audio form after the fact at some point on a major podcast platform, I really appreciate you guys as well for being here and being contributors and listeners for the podcast and supporters for such a long time. I really appreciate that. So this is Friday night. This is, what's the date today? I've lost all track. It's May 8th, Friday, May 8th. And we are on episode 30 of this thing we call The Heart of a Villain. And every single episode, I'm just amazed at the support. I'm amazed at all of the really good things that we're able to do with this podcast and spreading the word and getting to know so many of our brothers, as you'll find out here coming up again shortly. BP has lights. Yes, well, we're always changing things up, Jay, as you know. Real quick, I want to say hi to a whole boatload of people, and I'm probably going to forget some people here. So I do appreciate all you guys for chiming in. Slam's here, Sharissa, Hillbilly. Did he figure out how to? He figured out how to fix his name here on the YouTube. Of course, Bearded Irishman. I'm just going by your names that are on here. Don't make me do the math and try and figure out what your IG name is too. Reese, I believe it's Reese from over from Wales. We got a bunch of people from over across the pond here tonight because of our special guest interview coming up a little later. I think they're all I think they're all tuning in to hear what he has to say, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Jess is in the house, and Jay, of course. So Gator's in the house too. So we got a lot of people here that we normally do. Not sure. Lucky Magpie coming in from the UK, also representing a great group of people over there, the Bearded Villains, East Anglia. So cool to see all these people that are not a normal YouTuber on the live stream. So guys, welcome. Thanks so much for coming in. I really appreciate you guys being here. And this is your first time, welcome. A couple of things I'll get out of the way here. Number one, if for some reason, for those of you who are on the live stream right now, if for some reason you notice that the camera goes wacky on me, it's because, well, part of the reason is because the power outage that happened earlier today. So here at the studio at the house, where I have my podcast and the live stream studios and all that stuff, the Villain's Nest, or even the cave, I've not really called it anything other than the studio, but we lost power here today. high winds in the area, and we lost power. I did not know that we would have power back on in time, number one, for me to complete my interview with our interview guest for the day, but also for even to have the live stream or the podcast to record tonight. So power came back on about an hour and a half about maybe 2.5 hours now ago. So I scrambled last minute to try and make sure I had everything I needed that I could do once the electricity kicked back on. One of the things I found is that the battery for the camera that was supposed to be charging, of course, I think it somehow depleted when the power was out being plugged in. I'm not sure how that works, but it should have been charged and it didn't. So halfway through my interview with our interview guest today, I had to switch cameras mid-interview. So you'll see that, and that's kind of funny. But I quickly tried to charge the battery, and we'll see how long this camera, the good quality camera that you're looking at right now, stays up and running. We'll see, cross our fingers that it lasts the whole time. Otherwise, we'll be switching back over to a lesser quality camera midstream, but let's hope not. Those of you who are listening on the podcast platforms, you won't notice a difference. So lucky you. But okay, guys, I do appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments on the coloring of the lights. We're trying. I'm constantly trying to keep things interesting here on the podcast, on the live stream, especially trying to do a whole lot of fun stuff. As you'll see in the coming weeks and months, always trying new stuff out. The intro screen that you saw today took a little time today or the last couple days to try and get that set up so you had a little see-through view coming in as the countdown was on. So that's that. But so yeah, those are the housekeeping things out of the way. So let's hope the camera goes and hope everything else stays the same. So for those of you who are first-timers here, like I said, thanks so much. If you like bearded men, bearded villains, charity, brotherhood, or any of those kinds of things, you've come to the right place. That's what we talk about here. It's a little different right now simply because of the C word, and I mean the COVID word, because everything's still wacky right now. Bearded villain events and bearded villain gatherings are at a minimum, if any, right now, due to all that. So the amount of outreach that our brothers are able to do around the world is limited right now, but we are still doing some things. And I'll go over, there's some events that have popped up and been confirmed within our calendar system for later this year, provided that the social distancing guidelines stay where they're at right now. So we do have some events to talk about, at least here in the States and the Midwest. So something to keep an eye out for if you're in this area. So this is episode 30, and today I'm going to be interviewing Alex from the Black Shire Villains. I've been wanting to talk to him online, or at least, him specifically. I've been talking to him for a little bit on IG, but I wanted to talk to somebody from Black Shire Villains because they had a really cool contest that was just a few weeks ago where they tried to find who the oldest and the youngest villains, patched villains were, and they did a little contest that ended around Easter time, and that was a really cool way to rustle up something a little bit different and have some fun with some things during the social distancing and all the COVID guidelines that are going on, something different for our guys to do. So I thought that was a really cool thing, and the two winners of those that were deemed to be found, the oldest and the youngest patched beard villains all over the world, they got in and they were given a hat, a limited edition, only two made of these kind of hats. So that was kind of cool. But the Black Shire Villains, albeit a small chapter you'll hear about, they're doing some fun things, and they've just had a big merch drop. And I don't want to spoil the news, but it was pretty funny. It's been a big, long day for them. So Alex has been a busy guy today, so just suffice to say. So for those of you who are tuning in on the live stream and you want to find out how you can find the other episodes of the podcast, you can go right here, theheartofavillain.simplecast.com. There are 29 other episodes of this podcast. They got increasingly better over time. The first several podcasts I've gone back and listened to, and they were something to be desired. It was there was a lot to be desired in those podcasts. But I was learning my way, and I'm still learning, but it's a lot of fun for me. A lot of fun for me to find out what all of our chapters around the world are doing. So, and that's what this podcast is about. So the very first podcast of this that was with our president when I had an interview with VK out at the World Meet in LA last year. That's one of the worst things to listen to because it was not ideal interview conditions. So those of you who do go back and listen to that, hopefully people don't listen to that and think that that's what the podcast is right now because, wow, it's come a long way. So I do appreciate that, but that's how you can get to it. The heartofavillain.simplecast.com is where you can get all other podcast episodes on the podcast platforms. You can also listen to it in any major podcast platform. So let's check in with you guys. I want to check in one last time before we play our interview, see how everybody's doing here. Try not to do too much of this just because the podcast platform, people don't really want to hear me talking to you guys directly here the entire podcast, because that's not going to be too much fun for them. So yeah, I see everybody talking about the merch drop from the Black Shire Villains. You're going to hear about that today. It was pretty funny watching it happen and how quickly everything evolved and then just fell apart in regards to people being upset because they missed out. So, but yeah, my interview guest for this episode, for episode 30, is Alex from the Bearded Villains, the Black Shire Bearded Villains. He's also going to educate us U.S. people about a little bit about how many chapters are over there. I like to reiterate that every time I have somebody from the U.K. come on or a different country, just because it seems like the guys here in the States seem to be, aside from the ones that travel a lot out of the country, just kind of forget exactly how many chapters there are over there in different areas and just exactly how everybody's organized. So I like to remind our guys exactly how that's done. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it out here, guys. This is why a lot of you guys came. Hopefully you guys won't flee and run away after this interview is done. Let's hope not. But I'm just going to go ahead and play for you now the interview that I had with Alex, and hope you guys enjoy this. Keep the comments coming, and I'll be monitoring as we go. I'm speaking with a villain, a member, and a club secretary for the Black Shire Villains over in the UK. This is Alex. Alex, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. How about you, BP? You good?
I'm doing really well. I'm happy that I have power so that we can continue this interview and I can get this live stream going tonight.
Me too.
So you have been very busy over there. We'll get to that, your day, the crazy day that you've had.
Yeah.
We'll get to that shortly. But man, one of the things I love to hear about to start an interview with somebody that I don't personally know real well is to ask about your journey, how you found the Bearded Villains, and what brought you to where you're at right now. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found BV.
Okay, so I live in a place called Yorkshire in the UK, and I was following this guy for gaming. I play on my Xbox. I was following this guy, and I kept noticing, what's this? It's called Very Used over in Germany. And then he basically told me about it. And then he introduced me to somebody called Dom, who's my co-captain, Dom Fowles, because he's in my local catchment area. And then we just got talking. And it was actually a year next Saturday when I first joined Bearded Villains and Black Shire Villains as a hopeful. Okay. So, and then from there, the journey just progressed. Been to as many meets as I can, homeless runs, started off with the England hopefuls, raising money for charity. We designed a little patch, and it gave us a big unity together. So I see him as some of my best friends.
Yeah.
So it's been a roller coaster, and I absolutely love it. And it's just literally first thing I wake up, Bearded Villains. When I go to bed, Bearded Villains, and it's a way of life, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I since I found the Bearded Villains, it's just, you become more and more active, and it becomes a bigger part of your life as days go on. And now, obviously, through the podcast and everything I'm doing with this, it's huge now, and it's
good.
It's the biggest part of my life right now, other than the family and the kids right now, for sure.
Good.
So you one of the things that you do on the side, we'll get into your work and everything, but you also do some patch stuff on the side, don't you?
I've done bits and bobs. It's slowed down recently since I started my own business, but I will still do them. And I've got close ties with Utah, done a couple bits from there for them. Played around with our, patch, and done other patches for events which should be coming up this August. But whether they will or not with this whole, hate to say the word coronavirus, but you know what I mean. And I always say to everyone, look, for your chapter, I won't do any charge. Do you know what I mean? All I asked for was a patch in return.
Oh, wow.
So I do that free of charge for any chapter anywhere, really. So
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy generous of you.
Like, I mean, it's like try to be like-minded, help each other out and
Yeah, that's
kind of
great.
thing.
That's great. So, what do you do for your work? You said you just recently started your own business.
Yeah. So I started last year, basically started like a courier service, deliveries, but more towards businesses. And then this year I went like a limited company, and so I'm in Black Shire Villains, and obviously, like I said, I'm passionate about it. I called my company Black Shire Logistics.
Okay.
So it was going really, really well, like exceptionally well, and then all this happened. So from that, I'm now signed a new contract where basically I'm going around to people's houses and pick up coronavirus testing kits and then take them to hospitals. Like, I've been in more hospitals over the last few weeks than I have my entire life.
Wow.
And it's dangerous, but it's helping. And, I'm still bringing home the pennies. So I'm lucky compared to a lot of people.
So, as an independent contractor of yourself, I mean, you're able to actually set up a contract thing where you can do that?
Yes, you can subcontract for different companies, or you speak to people and like just get on with them, and they say, "Okay, take this here for me." Like, yeah, sure, and just networking really. So, if there was no work, I couldn't get any work. I wouldn't get a single penny. So, luckily there is. So I'm really lucky and fortunate right now.
Wow. I'm having camera problems, so I had to switch over cameras there for a second.
Okay, all good.
Let me make sure I get you back in here. There we go. You're back in. Okay. So I just find it interesting because you're able to do that. I mean, it seems like most of the courier services that do testing kits for things like that here in the States are, they're all about, it's all government run, and you have to be set up. So that's kind of cool that you're able to do that.
Yeah, we have to take some tests first to make sure we know what we're doing, and if anything goes wrong, we know what to do. So to say, but it is quite straightforward doing it. Our mail service, Royal Mail, I go there, pick up some like bags and stuff to go around and just collect everything so I can collect it safely.
Okay.
And then take it back at the end of the day. So, it's not what I was doing, not direction I wanted to go down, but right now, in a way, I'll take anything because a lot of people are at work.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate in this situation right now.
Man, that's awesome.
I enjoy driving. Like, that's half the
Yeah,
battle.
that's what I was going to get into. You're all over the place. I mean, look at your Instagram profile, man. You've taken this opportunity so that you can actually not only do your work, but you're traveling around seeing some of your bearded villain brothers all over the place.
Course. Like, I'll just take some time. I was in Glasgow last week or the week before, and Dave Woodenholme, he was up in Glasgow, and it was a little bit off my route, but it's 5 hours away from me, so I don't often get the opportunity. Then so I seen him and then thought, you know what, I gotta take this opportunity now to jump and see people because they're seeing the same four walls every day, so it helps their mental space.
Yeah.
And that's priceless in a way. So I've seen 4, 5, 6 people so far in the last 2 weeks. Just pop in and stop, and seeing one lads from East Anglia on Wednesday. I was only meant to stop for 20, 30 minutes. I was there for 2 hours. Like, obviously, social distancing. He pulled up a chair for me, other side of the driveway, and just we had a good chat. He gave me a hat, which I was very appreciative of. Yeah, it was awesome. It's a very nice hat as well. So, yeah, it's nice to be seeing people. Obviously, I'm out every day seeing, the UK, where, like I said, people just kind of stuck inside all day.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah, so how far of a distance are we talking when you go for work? I mean, what kind of a scope of distance are you driving?
So right now, I'm kind of around Yorkshire, so I'm doing about 200 miles a day, so it isn't loads. But before all this happened, I could be driving for 12 hours, obviously with breaks, and that could be up north Scotland or right down south, south coast, wherever there's work. And like sometimes I might go right down south and I'll have no work back.
Okay.
So in this industry, it's called dead mileage. You don't want to be traveling with nothing on you because it's a waste of fuel. So like I said, with this brotherhood, I've met a lad from the London chapter, Bulldog, and sometimes I just crash over at his house.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, we have food and relax and watch a movie together. So it's without that, then I was spending a lot more money on fuel, so it helps me out, and it's nice to get to see my friends.
Oh yeah, I think I think it's amazing that you're able to work in the, like I said, the fact that you're able to work in your work schedule and actually make it pay off to, give yourself a chance to, while you're during your work day, you can, or just at the end of a work day or something like that, chime in, and you happen to be up in this part of the country, and I'm going to swing over and see somebody I don't see very often. That's very cool.
Even if it's for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's doing anything right now, so take that opportunity.
Especially right now, because
Especially
what is it like? I know what it's like here in the States, and I've heard a whole bunch of different explanations of what the social distancing guidelines or the stay-at-home orders are like. But what's it like over there for you guys?
So it's 2 meters apart at all times. In supermarkets, there's queues outside, and so now when I buy a beer, I'm spending twice as much because I don't want to queue for an hour. So I'd rather go to a little shop where there's going to be no one and spend twice as much. But it's queuing outside. You shouldn't be going outside, essential travel only. It has lightened up recently. But if you had a dog, you weren't allowed to drive to take your dog to a park. You had to walk your dog from your house.
Okay.
A lot of shops, just one person in. But it has been lightening up, and you can see it. And I think this Sunday he's going to announce what's next for our country. And they're saying on the news it is going to lighten up, because I think Wales is lightening up, but it's anyone's guess. Wow. So it's still, when I'm driving today on all the roads, motorways, do not go on holiday. Stay at home, do not go on holiday, all the signs. So I'm trying to, imply it, but a lot of people don't listen at the same time.
Yeah. What's that like for you as far as with work? Since you've started doing a lot of the medical stuff, though, have you seen an influx of that, or is that kind of leveling off for you?
So one day I was Saturday, say I'm working tomorrow. I never work weekends, but the work's there, they need it doing. So I'm doing it. One day I was going back and forth, it was an hour each way. I went 6 times, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, just dropping off blood samples because they need to get tested ASAP. So yeah, it's in a way, my sat nav now says if I'm going to get somewhere in 1 hour, I will get there in 1 hour, because there's no traffic on the road. So it's good in a sense. But yeah, I enjoy it, and I'm very lucky to still be working.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't sure with all the lightening up of the restrictions a little bit. I mean, everybody is a little bit leery, even those that have been asking to be, for the restrictions to be lightened up for the last several weeks, and have been, kind of skeptical as far as the true veracity of how bad this is. And so they've been pushing a little bit longer, the people that have been on that end of the realm. But it is a little bit interesting to see that now things are starting to lighten up a little bit. You just it's almost like brand new ground. You don't know what's okay, or, we still need to stay distant in the, in lines and stores and different things. But, when's that first contact going to be where you shake someone's hand, or when it's just it's a different world now.
I'm not doing it. Why risk it? Yeah. I've got a little baby boy. Why would I risk it? That's, I don't see. I'd rather not hug someone just if it saves, my kid. But that also weird when I seen my brothers. It was weird not giving them a hug. That was the weirdest thing ever. That was so strange. It was bye. That felt unnatural.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I don't know. I'd not say weirded out by it, but it feels the prospect of being able to, even if you're hanging out with a few of your brothers from a distance, even just in the same room, but you're staying, or in the same yard or something, but not being able to shake hand and give hug. And
that's weird.
And I don't know if it's I know there's a bunch of BV events all over the world that have been canceled and postponed, but I'll be mentioning here at the end of the podcast that there's certain events that have been realigned and that are going full go. They're planning full go here for the fall with some events here in the Midwest in the States. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I seriously doubt we're going to have a vaccine by then for this. So to what extent will people feel comfortable about, getting close to people? And some of the places that we're talking about, they're going to be, limiting people, how many people they can have inside, but you're still looking at
it's still
100,
an
150
issue.
people.
I don't know. My views on it is I don't want to go to really any meets. I mean, I want to, but safe, to be safe. To at least December, I think. Because we're right now in apparently our peak right now. Most deaths like last 2 weeks. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's sad. I'm missing the meets. Like we have met the Welsh chapter meet. People's birthdays and all different meets. You just don't know when. No one knows what's happening, so no one's planning anything. So, well, we all can't wait, can we? I know you'll be excited.
Well, it's interesting, but at the same time, there's a little bit of, timidness to it. It's a little bit kind of scary. I don't know if scary is the right word for it, but maybe a little bit of that, because it's a different thing. And the last big event that I know here in the Midwest anyway, that I've been a part of was Nash Vegas, which is a very big meet in Nashville, Tennessee. And that occurred right as the coronavirus was starting to hit the States.
Well, I know that was kind of this time of year. It's like spring, summertime, isn't it, Las Vegas?
Yeah. It was, what was it? The first weekend of March, I think, is when, it was an outdoor thing, and but a lot of it was indoors, but most of it was outdoors, and it was, but there were several hundred people there, and we were just kind of starting to hear about the coronavirus at the time.
Yeah, so you don't really know about it, so it's kind of, you don't know about it, so why be scared at that time? But now, would you do that now?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I just don't, because you want to believe you're hearing, I know here in the States, I don't know if it's crazy. We've got a president who from the get-go have been saying, it's not as bad as it is. And then he kind of, I guess it kind of is. But he's afraid to backtalk and say, yeah, I was wrong. He'll never admit that he was wrong. So, but I don't know if it's like that over there, where it's, there's everybody's on the same boat in the government saying, no, we're not going to do this yet. We're not going to, but here, like my state, as of last week, they've kind of started to back off a little bit, and there's a plan of attack now. They've got this plan that I think the plan is to have everything back open in a month and a half. But they're going to slowly integrate these things, and
it needs to be done slowly. It needs to definitely be done slowly. Schools, they're still off. They could be off maybe until September until they go back. But as I go to service stations, like we have little pie and pasty shops, like a chain, they're slowly starting to open as well. So I'm starting to notice we got like the KFC drive-thru that's now opening. So I'm starting to notice these little businesses open again, and still seeing people start working. We had someone building a fence with my neighbour, and they said, yeah, he's just getting back into work. He's got 3 jobs today, which I was like, have you been working? He said, no, not the first bit of work. I was like, I bet you're glad, aren't you? He was like, yeah, I'm tired, but I need the money. So we all need the money right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a different world here when things start finally opening back up, and people looking for jobs that, you thought that this wouldn't be as long as it was, but full on businesses have closed down. And so it's going to be it's a different world. So, well,
sure it is.
So give me a quick rundown. I know we talked a little bit off air about this, but just to remind the guys here in the States, I know for sure, and then we've got guys all over the world listening. How many chapters do you guys have of BV there in the UK?
There's 14, including ourselves, so 14 in total.
Okay, so I know I gave you the rundown of it, that I was going to quiz you on this. So can you give us the lowdown on which ones that includes?
Okay, so I'll try to start from the south, going up.
Okay.
So you have Southwest, you have London, and then you have Kingsman, and then we have Essex, east of England. We have Wales. We have Lincoln. I think Lincoln. Is it Lincoln or Lincolnshire? Well, so Lincoln, Lincolnshire. We got England. Did I say Midlands? Midlands. Then we've got Northern Monkeys, Lakeside. We've got Black Shire, and then we've got Scotland. Was that 14?
I wasn't counting. It's okay if you're.
I think that's about right. I don't
Okay.
think I'm missing one. I think I've got everyone there.
Man, so just so I know, I mean, maybe you don't. Where did the name Black Shire come from?
So in 2018, there was charters, and there was like the UK chapter, and then it all. Like I said, I've only been in it just coming up to a year, so it's just what I've picked up from what I've heard. You know,
Sure.
everyone's got their own stories on what actually happened, but basically there was a split, and then a lot of these charters went to chapters, and then, you know, even though there might be a charter for since 2015, then a chapter, and then there was a northern charter, north central charter that was still free, that didn't have any claim to it, and there's a couple of villains which didn't have a chapter. And so they came together and basically produced Black Shire Villains. They want to call it Black Sheep Villains, but that got pushed back by being thought of like, you know, why are you trying to, you know, be an outcast?
Oh,
But,
yeah.
You know, so which, you know, I understand that.
Yeah.
And then the name Black Shire Villains came around, but we kind of go by Black Sheep Crew, you know, what we call ourselves. But we are Black Shire Villains. And yeah, I love it. I love it. It's my life. I absolutely love Black Shire Villains.
Yeah.
I said I'd call my company Black Shire Logistics. So
Yeah. I think they go with it, man. You're used to it, and it's a catchy name, man. I think it makes you guys unique as a chapter, having the separate designation as, you know, that it's Black Shire Villains. It's not, you know, a lot of the chapters out there, you know, it's only a city or geographically, you know, specific location is what they're known by. But having the Black Shire, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it. The Black Sheep. I love it. I do love it, and we're tight. We're only a small chapter. We're only small, and it is nice. But I think we've kind of got the mindset now, maybe because we're maturing a bit, you know, grow a little bit. But we don't want to force anything. It all wants to be done organically, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's what we all want.
Now, how many guys do you have in there now in Black Sheep and the Black Sheep? How many Black Sheep do you have?
Black Sheep, Black Shire is so good. So there's 10 of us all together. Right now, we did have 11. Well, actually, no, we had 10, and then our captain, he moved out of our catchment area, and then since he's gone, we got another hopeful in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is since last week. This last week for Black Shire has been crazy. Our captain left out of the catchment area. It's left a big hole with us. You know, we all love him, and it's one of the things. He lives in Essex, so you know he's not with us. But you know, we all like the guy. We all love the guy. There's no hard feelings, but he's done the right thing. I like it. So he's called Lord Monkey. I like the guy so much. I've actually bought him a Lord title a few weeks back.
What?
So he's actually officially a Lord. So yeah, like he's a good guy. We all like him. We all love him.
So okay? So wait a minute. You just said something that caught my ear. You can buy somebody a Lord title.
Yeah, you buy a bit of land and you can officially become a Lord.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never.
So his name's Lord Monkey. So obviously, as I said, look, now you're officially a Lord.
Wow. Now so you can do that for anybody?
Yeah.
How
Lord or Lady titles.
So how do you have to? Where do you get how do you get this land? Is it like just like a square, you know, a square meter or something like that, or?
Yes, not big. A little bit of land. It's on someone else's land, and they sell it off, I believe. But you get like certificates and everything like that.
Wow. And then you're officially a Lord. Do they have to be do you have to be a resident of the UK to get that?
Do you know what? I wouldn't know. You have to Google that one. But
you gave me some homework now.
You can go and change your driver license, bank cards, anything. So.
He didn't say that. No, we're not going to. He didn't officially say that. But yeah, that's very cool. Well, congratulations. That's a cool thing you did for him. That's awesome.
Bit of a laugh, isn't it? As well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good story too.
Yeah. So then, obviously, with him. So right now we don't have a captain. We're not rushing to get one. Like I said, it's in discussion. We're going to have a meeting about it, but we're not going to force anything. You know, it's just going to, like I said, happen naturally.
Yeah.
Like we are quite strong, quite tight knit group. So it's just in chats at the minute, and if it happens in a week, happens in 5 weeks, so be it. There's no rush.
Yeah, that's good.
No,
No, that's good. And it's with a group of 10 people, the right person will show themselves. And
definitely.
In the right time, it's going to be obvious who that next person needs to be to help lead. So
exactly,
that's good. So let's just get into your busy day, man. So at the time of this podcast, when this is going to be played here in just a little bit, we're just a few hours out of a big patch release that you guys had, and tell us a little bit about what happened and how quickly that was gone.
I nearly had a heart attack. It just went crazy because this week, what's happened? So I'll just do the week down to this run up to what happened today. So our captain, he left, so mood's a bit low, a bit sad. And then we ordered some hats, and these hats, because of the coronavirus, the manufacturing production stopped. So we've had people messaging constantly like, please bear with us. And everyone's been fine. Everyone's been cool with it. And then he opened his doors this week. So that was like, amazing news. Like, yeah. So, and people are already starting to slowly get them hats. So it's like a big weight off our shoulders. We applied to be a non-profit organization, and that dropped on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So that's like, wow, amazing news. Tuesday, that means we can actually sell these patches, which we've been teasing for about 3 weeks, because we thought we might get a non-profit a bit sooner. So we started dropping teasers, and we got messages after messages asking when, which I get it, I understand. And so then the D-Day was today at 6:00 UK time, which shows a struggle for a lot of people, what 6 o'clock is in the UK. Uh-huh. And then we went on sale, but we just opened a big cartel as well. First time we've ever used it. We were panicking if it was going to work or not. And then we dropped it, and 50 patches sold in less than 3 minutes, about 2.5 minutes, 50 patches sold. We decided, I think only one of our guys actually bought the pack, because we decided, look, let's let people get a chance to have these instead of ourselves. So we kind of took a step back, and so we didn't get one each, but other people have them, and a lot of people missed out. So because of that, we've also got an order of our black and white patch that we have done before, but in a woven. So this is the one that was sold today in the pack.
Okay, there it is.
I've got a black and white version of that as well, which is coming out when the supplier sends it to us. We'll just put it on sale straight away. But yeah, the pack's lovely. Me and my co-captain Dom spent out of our own pockets with this, and we got everything luxury. Everything's the best you can possibly get. The business card's a card. We even gave gold cotton with the pack, just so people don't have to go out and buy a roll of cotton just for one patch. So we tried to think of everything, stickers in there, and a number card as well. And the card's that thick, it won't bend. It's that luxurious. So yeah, looking forward to writing them out over the weekend and making them up. So
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good. And then yourself asked me to be on this podcast, so I feel this week for Black Shire has been a complete roller coaster.
Yeah. Well, you know what, you guys have been you may be a small chapter, but you've been making some news, and it's really cool. And like I said, I try to float around and get guys on from different chapters all over the world, and it was just the timing was perfect with you guys doing this patch release thing, and then you guys just had that successful little contest that you did for the Shepherd and the that was kind of cool too. So really neat idea that you did with that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just so I got asked in to be a secretary in September, and I just thought, like, New Year, I just really want to do something, really want to push. Not saying it's me, it's been a bit of all of us ideas. And then we're just talking one day, like, who's the oldest, who's the youngest? So, like, I don't know. And so let's find out, and let's give them something to do it. So, again, it's come out of our own pockets, but it gets people talking, especially it hit just when all this, the C word hit. And then it just gives something to, kind of let's find. So we called it The Shepherd and the Lamb. And the shepherd was... Oklahoma Pete is called 70 years old, mm-hmm. and the youngest was, I think it's A. Morales, and he was 20 years old. So 50 years gap between them, both in the States. But yeah, and they get a snapback with our X Factor, and on the back it says Shepherd and Lamb.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them being made.
Yeah,
and that's for them.
Such a cool idea. It was, it's just those
fun,
just little
it?
fun, unique things that you're doing, and this new, just so everybody understands, and I'll reiterate this later, but 50 sets of these patch kit that they had, and they sold out in 2.5 minutes today.
My phone was in my hand, and it just burnt up. It went so hot, and before one notification came, another one's coming, and it's just like, and my phone went so hot, and my heart was just going pop, pop, pop.
And the fact that you guys did your first ever big cartel, of the site, that you started that up for this, it was your first time doing that for a limited patch that you knew was going to sell like wildfire. That's very, very brave of you to do that, but it's a good thing that it worked out really well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I've heard people have had issues when they first go and sell something, but the other option was one person was going to sit on Instagram, one person going to sit on PayPal, one person was going to update a spreadsheet, and I said, look, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to make these packs up and send them out. I don't want to do that, please. So, and then, let's get a big cartel. And you know what? It made absolute perfect sense. Mm-hmm. But also, we only allowed 1 per person.
Yeah.
So and we said if anyone buys more than 1, we're going to just refund them all the money and we'll put them back on sale for someone else. Please respect the rules, just 1 per person, and everyone did.
Good. That's very cool. Glad that all worked out for you guys. And you got some other stuff coming up down the road. I won't spoil that, but you definitely, everybody needs to stay tuned for the Black Shire Villains Instagram page, because they got some other cool stuff coming down the road. Some other cool merch stuff, and we definitely need to support our brothers over in the UK for that, for sure.
Thank you.
So, the last thing I just wanted to cover with you, and we've been talking a little bit about this, and it was a sad week. It's been a sad few weeks over in the UK, especially for our brothers in the East Anglia chapter. Mm-hmm. And I know that I mentioned it here on the podcast when Elliott passed away, and Elliott's the son of Wesley, and Wesley's with the East Anglia chapter, and he passed away from cancer, and his funeral was it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. And I know that you guys are all tight over there, pretty tight, and it's such a sad story, but such a cool things come out of it, as far as the way that the Bearded Villains, the East Anglia chapter especially, but obviously the Bearded Villains as a whole, have supported Wesley and honored Elliott.
It's what we all do, right? We look out for each other. Yeah. So, I mean, it's beautiful.
So, just for the people that don't know, do you want to go ahead and just explain what happened with his getting patched and all that stuff?
So let's say I'm quite good friends with the co-captain of East Anglia, Ginger, or Ryan. So he was basically he kind of told me a bit more when I seen him on Wednesday, and it's hard to say what to say. Basically, we heard he got the all clear, and then unfortunately that wasn't the case. And then, so when they had this funeral yesterday, Bearded Villains, he absolutely loved Bearded Villains. He got patched in, actually his own villain patch. He was actually a villain, which is beautiful. Mm. He loved the Bearded Villains, everything. He was always at, all the meets and stuff. And what Ryan told me yesterday, he said in the town, everyone's going to line up, like not just Bearded Villains, the residents going to line up, and then at the chapel, their chapter are going to stand opposite each other, whilst it goes dressed up in all their BV gear, which because he would have absolutely loved that. Mm. So yeah, it's very sad, and I can't even imagine how they're feeling right now. So just my heart goes out to them, and send a little message of sending my love and prayers to the family. Yeah, we're definitely. They know everyone's thinking of them. Yeah. They do know. They must know that everyone's thinking of them. Yeah, I can't even. I mean,
you know, as a father, you just, your heart goes out to them, and you can't even imagine.
100%.
It's you've had, I mean, everybody's had sick kids at, you know, a time or two, and I've, you know, I had, my son was in the NICU when he was born, and you just, you know, instant love for your kids, and so I can't even imagine what that was like to go through.
Yeah, I lost my 12-week-old nephew, and like, it's just me. I've got my boy, and I'm just so paranoid about absolutely every little thing. Like, I'm walking next to water, I'm like, I need to jump, you know, stand in between. But you know, it is sad. But not saying the positive out of it. Like, for the family, they've got that like social circle around them, checking in on them, and it's that mental space, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, make sure someone's just talking to you, asking how your days went, or if you've been able to buy some flour at the shop because you can't buy flour at the shop. Just, you know, gets the mind talking about anything, really. So it's good to have that family around us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just I don't know what else to say about it. It's not for me or for us to say much else about. I know that the captain, Lee Greaves, for the East Anglia chapter, wrote a poem that was read at his funeral. And
no, it wasn't read. So if I said that, I do apologize. I might say that to you.
But he wrote it.
He wrote it. When you messaged me yesterday, obviously my mind was on the EA.
Sure.
And then, so when you messaged me, I messaged Ryan saying, you know, would you want anything whilst you got this, you know, window? And then he got back to me saying his captains wrote this, and I said I'll just ask, and then I sent it over to you.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, here in a few minutes, I'm going to be reading the poem that was written by the captain of the East Anglia chapter in honor of Elliott. So, it's an amazing work of art done in honor of an amazing boy. So. But, well, Alex, I appreciate you coming on, man. You guys, you're doing great things in Black Shire with that chapter with the Black Sheep. I like the official Black Shire, and we just call you the Black Sheep. It works out. Sounds good. Yeah. But stay safe over there, man. Stay healthy, and
you too as well.
Definitely keep me posted on how things are going, and I'll
We're
have
friends now, aren't we? We're friends. We're mates.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll have you. I'm going to have you back on here down the road. I want to find out how things are going down the road once we're able to host events and different things like that. And you're one of my stops when I come over to the UK for sure.
Mate, we'll take you over there. I remember before you got Ben talking about the price of beer over here. He sold that up. It's not that expensive. We have a chain called Wetherspoons where it's like £2.50 for a beer.
Okay.
You know, so it's not as expensive as you
said.
So
okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna have a problem then.
No, definitely.
All right,
you take care, man.
All right, take care, man. Be safe.
Cheers, bro.
All right,
all the best.
Cheers.
Bye now. Bye.
Okay. A couple things. First of all, I really liked that interview. It was a lot of fun talking to Alex, but. I started. Apparently, we've now started a little battle because I can only assume that maybe Alex reached out. I mean, the timing of this was crazy because once my power got back on, I said, "Hey, we're good to go." We were supposed to actually hook up for the interview much earlier in the day. He stuck around with me, waiting for me to call him back and say, "Hey, I got power now, so we can do our interview." But after the interview. And you saw how the end of the interview ended, you know, how he talked about, hey, you know, Ben kind of sold it a little differently and said that the beer was too expensive or something. What's funny is that I got a message on Instagram probably like within an hour of finishing the interview with Alex. So I can only imagine that Alex said something to him or somebody told him. But I got a message from Ben up in Canada saying, hey, I hear he's saying that I said this, and so I must have. You guys will have to sort that out yourselves, Alex. You and Ben, go back and forth and tolerate that and deal with that. I don't know what you guys are gonna have to fight for. So, but you guys have stoked something up. It's pretty funny, actually. Okay. So real quick, I did want to show for those of you who haven't seen it. Now, this is kind of teasing you because for those of you who haven't seen it, you have lost out because this is the patch system. This is the patch kit. Right here and I'll try and enlarge this for you so you can see it. Pretty cool. I'm going to cover my face up with it here. But this is a really cool patch set that's got the patch and all that other stuff he talked about. Such a cool set they put together at a really, really crazy, reasonable low price. But there were only 50 of these available, and this is the set that disappeared, sold out within 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. So very cool stuff. Just and like I said in the interview, I thought it was crazy of those guys to launch their big cartel site the first time by doing this and not testing it with other merch first. It's, hey, to each their own, but that was very brave of them to take care of that in such a way. But yeah, so I've been stalling for a couple seconds here because as I said to you guys, as I said in the interview, I'm going to read a poem here, and it's an incredibly well-written poem that was done by the captain, Lee, over at the East Anglia chapter in honor of Elliott. And I've read this thing so many times already, and it doesn't get any easier to read. It's so heartfelt. It's just amazing. It's perfectly spoken, perfectly written. And I only hope that when I'm reading this, I can do it justice for what the meaning is behind it. But it's an incredible poem, and I have no problem saying that. He did a bang-up job with this thing. So in honor of Elliott, this poem is called Youngest Brother in the Sky. Do not be sad, my brothers. Keep your fond memories of me. I am flying high with the angels, as God sent me on a mission, you see. Please look after Mummy, my daddy, and Uncle Dan, too. Not forgetting my 2 brothers, whose love is pure and true. My beautiful home high up in the sky is such a sight to see. Ghostbusters and dinosaurs, all sitting here beside me. Now I am a superhero. This much is really true. And when you look into the sky, I'll be there over you. I am so proud of my patches you sent up here with me. I really cannot wait to wear them so that all my new friends can see. It's time for my new adventure, but you do not have to say goodbye, for I will always be here, your youngest brother in the sky. Our hearts go out to Elliott's family and to everyone who knew and loved him and continues to remember him, and to the East Anglia chapter and everybody else over there. We are thinking of you in this time, and it's a very difficult one for you guys. I don't really know how to transition out of that. So I'm just going to do what I know to do and kind of bring in our music for our event calendar. It's normally our calendar of non-events, but we do have a few events that we can talk about, and I'll bring those up here. We know the World Meet, for those of you who are looking at it, the World Meet here in the U.S. was rescheduled, not canceled. We're calling it rescheduled for 2021, still in Chicago. So all the details are still to be decided on that. They're coming up, and they'll be out there down the road. Anybody that had hotel reservations, they've been canceled if they were at the main hotel. and a new site, a new link, and everything else is coming down the road so that you can take care of those for the 2021 World Meet. There are 2 events that I do have on my schedule that are active events still coming up. And the guys at the Smoky Mountain chapter in Tennessee have been adamant that they want to make sure that this happens. So, to my knowledge, nothing's stopping them. It's called Knox Villains, and it's actually coming up next month, June 13th. I guess there's significant enough of social distancing lightening up of the loads, so they are allowing crowds to gather in smaller numbers. So June 13th in Knoxville, Tennessee is Knox Villains. It's hosted by our Smoky Mountain chapter. It's still going on, and it's benefiting the Autism Society of East Tennessee. It will be at the Bohemian at 621 Lamar Street in Knoxville, Tennessee. So it's a beard competition, and I'm sure a whole bunch more going on. So hit up our brothers at the Smoky Mountain chapter in Tennessee for further information. But it's June 13th in Knoxville, Tennessee. And then also here in the Midwest in Indiana, seems like the Midwest is taking it over. Indiana is, the Bearded Villains of Southern Indiana will be hosting their Battle of the Beards 3 October 3rd. So that's coming into the fall. And it's benefiting, again, it's going to be benefiting the Gresham House. And it's going to be at the American Legion Post number 44 at 711 State Street in Newburgh, Indiana. Those are the 2 things that I have right now. I'm sure as the guidelines start to lighten up a little bit, we'll start to see a few other things. I do know that the East Coast meet, as I said last time around, has been canceled for this year, and they're making arrangements to figure out what they're going to do for next year for an East Coast meet, but and then the World Meet as well. So keep your eyes out. As things start to lighten up a little bit, we're going to start to see some of these events pop back up. It will be weird because obviously we're going to have to still stay somewhat socially distanced while we're at these events, those of us that decide to attend. So definitely be safe about things and be smart. And don't, if you don't feel safe about going, then don't, by all means. You need to think about family first. You don't want to put anybody in danger for sure. So that is our information on the calendar of non-events, but just a couple of events. And now I'm going to give you a little bit of a ad for a company that's given us a discount code for the viewers of the podcast. If you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and coarse hairs, but make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo Beard products combine the best beard products, the best beard ingredients on the market with an incredible customer care and ensure that you are happy with your orders. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or some fun clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to pulpobeardoils.com and use the code TheHeartOfAVillain for a discount on your order. Again, Pulpo Beard Oils, use the code TheHeartOfAVillain, one long word, for your discount on your order. Guys, that's going to wrap up episode 30 for The Heart of a Villain. Special thanks to Alex for chiming in with us and talking to us a little bit about our event, our interview, And I do appreciate that. Thoughts, prayers going out to Elliott and his family. Remember, you can still buy shirts, patches, and pins on theheartofavillain.simplecast.com. And remember, guys, the heart of a villain never stops beating. Most importantly, guys, remember, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. So for now, guys, take care. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the week ahead. Take care and stay safe.
Don't get get twisted like contortionists in close quarters. My crew has more heads than Pete's cleaning up on hoarders. When Black Shire and I, we come together, transformers. So when we meet up, handshakes, brews, and salutes. Every brother is different, fingerprints and attributes. One thing in common with the beat.